Okay, good. That accounting degree paid off.
Let's start with Dominic's Law. I believe it's on your desk waiting to be signed right now. Just your thoughts on making Michigan among the leaders in terms of strict penalties for child abusers in the U.S.
Well, again, we always think of the children because they're a vulnerable group that we really need to take care of. We've done a lot in terms of child services, and I really need to compliment Maura Corrigan. She's been a great leader of the human service group in terms of what we're doing with kids. Because we started from a ways back in terms of our child service efforts, and they've improved dramatically. We're not there yet, but we're going to get there.
What does this say about sort of the grassroots effort to pass laws? This was a law that was created based on a case here in Genesee County of a 4-year-old being beaten over a period of days and eventually dying. His grandfather was the one to sort of push for the bill, and he got the local lawmakers behind him. Just sort of take us through that process and what that means for starting laws at that level.
Well, that's always part of the way the system should be. It's about listening to our citizens, our customers, and working hard to deliver on that. So again, that's where it's always good to see the system working the way you'd hope it would.
Heard a little bit about the new bridge between Windsor and Detroit in your press conference with the Prime Minister last week. Why is that so important for Michigan, and why do you think some people might be against it or seem to be sort of hesitant to go along with the plans?
Yeah, well, to build the bridge is a relatively straightforward, easy decision because it's basics. It's about more and better jobs for Michiganders. It's about international trade. It's about construction jobs. It's a win all around, and particularly then you add the aspect that the Canadians will be paying the costs on our side of the project, and that would be repaid from tolls. So there's no obligation to Michigan taxpayers. So we get another crossing, we get more trade, we get more jobs. It's a great answer. The only issue that's been is there's a special interest that has the competing bridge that's been making a whole lot of money at our expense that doesn't want to see competition. So it spent a lot of money on misleading ads. If it wasn't for that fact, I think everyone would be behind it. Most people are. The business community is fully behind it. The labor community is fully behind it. So we need to move forward. And one special interest shouldn't hold up something to the best interest of 10 million people.
This week you'll be signing the ban on synthetic marijuana. Why is that so important to do that? And I mean, this is an issue that has been out there for a little while, but really has come to the forefront just in the last few weeks.
Well, it's good. That's one of the pieces of legislation I'm excited to see show up on my desk and I want to sign. We actually called for that back in March in our public safety message. So I'm happy to see we were helping lead the charge, and I just wish we could have gotten to it even faster in terms of getting it through the legislature. But it's good. It's getting done now, and we need legislation like that because it's about K2, but it's about more than K2. Because one of the challenges is this legislation is going to be good and helpful because they could reformulate something else that wouldn't be technical. It could be K3. And then we'd be going through this all again. But part of the legislation that we're putting in place is to allow us to do temporary measures to address the next version, the K3 or the K4, because we want to stop this problem.
Mike Brown had a meeting last week to talk about the new city light assessment. They're trying to raise $3 million to maintain lights in the city of Flint. Hundreds of people packed City Hall. Most of them were pretty upset by the assessment. Just talk about why taxes like that are necessary, and even though it might not be something that's popular among the residents of Flint.
Well, that's something that I'm going to leave that to Mike Brown to address that issue and work through with the citizens, because it's part of having a dialogue. Because it is important to have public lighting for public safety. And so that's that balancing act of how do you make sure we improve public safety, because that's a huge issue here in Flint. We need to see better results, and that's why I've already asked the state police to become more active, to partner with the Flint police. We hope to open the city jail. We've got a number of other good things to come to help support public safety. So it's part of that dialogue, but I appreciate it too that it's tough economic times, and to have more dollars or be asked for more dollars can be difficult.
He's been in power for a little more than 6 months. Just sort of give him a progress report. He gave one to the city a couple weeks ago.
Well, I think he is making positive progress, so that's a good thing. It's still a work in progress, though, and that's one of the challenges is when you're asking people for a lot of change and difficult measures, it can be hard. So we'll continue to work through this in a constructive way.
Okay. We can keep
All right.